Shabbat Shalom, everybody. This is a really exciting moment in our congregation. We often have congregants share their wisdom and their interpretations of Torah or what they do in their life outside of this building. And our new membership committee, under the leadership of Linda George and Abby Binder, have put together, or are in the process of putting together, a series of what we are currently calling, but looking for a new name for, TED Talks. Because TED Talks are sort of what we know of as talks where people share the wisdom that they have come by through their experience, and the unique wisdom that they can share with our community. We are looking for possibly a new name, so if anybody has any ideas, we are open to that. And the first of these talks is going to be Dr. Cory Newman. So Dr. Cory Newman is the director of the Center for Cognitive Therapy and professor of psychology in the Department of Psychiatry at the University of Pennsylvania Perelman School of Medicine. He is a full-time therapist and clinical supervisor, as well as administrating the activities of the Center for Cognitive Therapy. He is an international lecturer. In fact, I believe you once had to ask me how you were going to celebrate Rosh Hashanah in Iceland, and believe it or not, there's a Chabad there. And having presented nearly 300 cognitive behavioral therapy workshops and seminars at home in the US as well as in 23 other countries. He has published over 100 articles and chapters on cognitive behavioral therapy for a wide range of disorders and clinical issues, and has authored or co-authored 6 books, including 2 with his former mentor, who is also the parent of a member of our congregation, the late Aaron T. Beck. Cory is an original member of Kol Ami, who has been on the softball team for 28 seasons, as well as occasionally performing piano for the congregation, including this year at the Purim Spiel. And I also want to say I had the really cool and kind of surreal experience of I was reading a psychology book on a topic that I was interested in, and I like to read the acknowledgments because I'm a writer and I like to know who people are acknowledging, and they acknowledged Dr. Cory Newman, so it was interesting that something that I was learning from originated from his teaching. So that says a lot about him as a teacher, and we're pleased to invite him to share his talk on 8 Wonders of the Day. So this mic, no, here, so that these folks can.
Okay to unmask?
Yes, it's okay. And make sure you get nice and close to the microphone.
Okay, will do.
And only step back if you hear it.
Okay.
If the volume comes out.
Welcome to the post-game show. I am your host, Cory Newman. Our topic is going to be the 8 Wonders of the Day, which is a little bit grandiose, because it really is a down-to-earth topic, but it's a nod to the 8 Wonders of the world, which is a little bit grandiose. But it kind of fits in a way. I don't even know all the 8 wonders of the world. I know there's the Taj Mahal and the Great Wall of China and Machu Picchu and the pyramids at Giza in Egypt that we built, just saying, prior to the Exodus. In any event, the 8 wonders of the day refers to 8 categories of activities, things that we can invest ourselves in on any given day to increase a sense of purpose, to do something that gives us a warm glow inside, that helps us make a contribution beyond ourselves to other people. And it doesn't subsume every single thing we can do. I'll name these 8 wonders of the day, and you'll think, well, I could do something else and something else, other categories. There are other categories. But it's sort of a way of orienting ourselves within good headspace. It's easy to remember. I think it's easy to remember at this point. I didn't write this down, but any of you could contact me and I'll give you a list of the 8 if you can't remember a couple of them. It's a way of being able to overcome what has become all too common, which is a sense of being so weighed down by the troubles of the world that it can feel like nothing matters or nothing we do matters, that it's just all too much, it's too overwhelming. It can really cause a sense of despair. And when you feel a sense of despair, it's hard to get moving, it's hard to do anything. It seems like whatever you try to do, it's just not enough, so what's the point? And it's a whole domino effect of negative thoughts can happen. But if you can sort of reorient and say, well, there's some things I can do, some things I can control. And it makes a difference. In fact, just a little side thing. When people who really are clinically depressed say things like, nothing I do matters, it's a very common kind of feeling when a person's depressed. And the irony is that when someone is that depressed, pretty much everything they do matters. Getting out of bed matters, brushing your teeth matters, walking the dog matters, returning a text message from someone you care about matters, paying that bill that might be overdue soon matters. It all matters even more than usual, but it's harder than usual to do. These 8 wonders of the day, are a way of trying to break out of that sense that it doesn't matter, and here are some things that matter. And you don't have to do all 8. A certain number is enough, but the key is to think of it every day. So without further ado, here are the 8 wonders of the day. Wonder number 1, do something that facilitates a relationship, something that connects with somebody else. And it can be at the micro level with one other person. It can be at the macro level. It could be connect with the world. It could mean, to give to charity. It could mean to donate your time. It could mean to commune with nature and relate to humanity. But getting back to the things that are more immediate, connecting with somebody else, it could mean something very simple, like a random act of kindness, doing somebody a favor, sending somebody a text message out of the blue that just says, I'm thinking of you, I hope you're having a good day. These things all matter. It could be something a little more serious, like making an apology to someone when you really do need to apologize and it's kind of overdue. It could be a big deal like making a commitment to somebody. It could be a big deal like being there for someone in their hour of need. It could be saying I love you to someone, maybe for the first time. Think of something, wonder number 1, do something that facilitates a relationship. Wonder number 2, do something physical. Get moving. And I recognize that has limitations, medical limitations. So I would not ever ask anybody to overextend themselves beyond what is medically safe. But I think it's okay to extend yourself as long as you don't overextend yourself. And all else being held equal, the person who's a bit more active is the happier person. And again, it doesn't have to be a big deal. It could be a small thing, like don't just sit there, move around your home. It could mean, if somebody else in your household is in charge of walking the dog, you volunteer to walk the dog. And you can combine wonder number 1 and wonder number 2 by asking someone that you know and care about, let's go for a walk together. And then you're facilitating a relationship and you're moving. It doesn't require that you do something big like go to the gym every day or be a maniac on your Peloton. It just means do something a little bit more than you typically do. And when you do that, you kind of get your second wind. And it's easy to forget we can get our second wind when we don't try for the first one. But there is this thing called a second wind, and you find out, when I said before, I'm too tired to do whatever it was, X, Y, and Z, I wasn't too tired, I was just tired. So from now on, I'm going to take out that word, that T-O-O word, and I'm just going to say, I'm kind of tired, but I'm going to go for a walk. Not, I'm too tired to go for a walk. So that's wonder number 2, do something physical. Wonder number 3, read something that really is good brain food. Read something that is good for your soul. This shouldn't be too much of a stretch for the people of the book. And yet, it's easy to get wrapped up in reading things that are not that good brain food, that may sort of suck us in, but are not really good for us, not good for the soul. So think about the things that you would like to read that have substance, that make you feel like you're getting something out of it, that it's making you a richer, deeper person, or that you just can laugh at, and it's laughter in all good, in good fun. One thing I think about is all the books that I have that I've been meaning to read, that I have not read. My bookshelves are full of them, and I walk past them and I see them every day, but I don't really see them. They become invisible. One in particular stands out that I've been meaning to read past chapter 2 for the last 15 years. And it's by the late, great Stephen Jay Gould, called I Have Landed. And I really enjoyed those first 2 chapters. I can recall the morning glow I got reading those first 2 chapters. Don't know why I never went past, but my bookmark is still there. So on those days when I'm feeling like, oh, I'm so sluggish, I'm not sure what to do, feeling kind of down on, on life and the world, I might get that book by Stephen Jay Gould, get it out of the bookshelf I have landed, and get back on chapter 3. Read something worth reading. Wonder number 4, it's related. It's a little bit harder, so I recognize that. It's write something that's worth reading. So that can be everything from, writing in your own personal journal about your observations about your life. That's worth reading, and worth reading again when you go through your days and weeks, months, and you go back and look at it. It could be writing a holiday greeting card or a birthday card to someone. That's worth reading, and that also facilitates a relationship. So now we have combinations of things again. A lot of these things can double and triple in your wonders of the day. Writing something that's worthwhile could be a letter to the editor. It could be a blog. It could be something for the Kol Ami bulletin. It could be an academic paper. It could be it could be your novel that you're working on. So there are big and small things that you can do, but try to write something that's worth reading. That's the wonder number 4. Wonder number 5 is not really glamorous, but it's truly important. Do some sort of maintenance. Something to maintain something in your life. Everything requires maintenance. A car requires maintenance, a home requires maintenance, our health requires maintenance, relationships require maintenance. It's entropy, shoelaces will eventually become untied, but they will not tie themselves. To get the shoelaces tied, we have to do that. We have to maintain things. And it might be simple things like picking clothes off the floor, doing the laundry, cleaning out the car that you had some stuff in the back seat for a long, long time and get that cleared out. It could be bigger things. It could be rearranging things, doing some feng shui for different ambience at home. It could be health maintenance. It could be relational maintenance. It could be maintaining your finances, meeting with somebody and getting something solved that's been weighing on you for a long time. These are all meaningful things, doing some sort of maintenance. Not very glamorous, but you get a lot out of it. That's wonder number 5. Wonder number 6, do something creative. There's lots of things under that category of do something creative. It could be, like playing guitar and singing. You could sing in the shower. You could sing in your car. If you like to sing, you could do karaoke. It could mean doing a craft. It could mean doing something like writing a poem. It could be something like you write something humorous online or a humorous text message to somebody else that you're connecting with, thereby facilitating a relationship. Creative can be music, it can be the arts, it can be creative thought process. It could be inventing a new game with your kids. It could be inventing a new thing, a dinner party game that you play. It could be making up trivia questions just for fun. It could be trying a new routine. It could be cooking a new recipe. It could be working in your garden, because that's a creative process in itself. Plus, it's also physical activity. That combines there as well. Something creative. Number 7. Wonder number 7, apropos of right now, do something spiritual. Being here tonight, for Shabbat is spiritual. Being among each other in this congregation is spiritual. It can be actual religious ritual, religious prayer, religious tradition. But it can also be a little bit more secular. It could be about meditation. It could be reading something very philosophical. It could be mindfulness. It could also be, staring at a candle and contemplating the universe. That's okay too. That's spiritual. It can be something like sitting on your floor and going through some old photos and creating an album and playing music that is apropos of the moment where you're looking at photos of people that you love. Maybe some of them aren't here anymore. And that's a very spiritual experience. Do something spiritual. And wonder number 8, do something cross-cultural. Lots of possibilities with cross-cultural. It could be things like make it a point to learn some words in an international language on a given day. It could mean, and here this ties into read something that's good brain food and good for your soul, read something by an author of an ethnicity that you don't typically read. I can say this, I'm not bragging about it, but I am proud of it, which is in the last 2 years, I have read more books by women of color than I had in all the previous decades combined, and it really has truly enriched me. So that's a really important cross-cultural experience for me. Cross-cultural could also mean something like listen to a radio station in a different language or with different kinds of ethnic music. It could mean take part in an event. One time my daughter told me that when she was, away at school, that she attended a Chinese New Year celebration. I thought, that's so cool. I've never done that. That's a good cross-cultural event as well. So in sum, these 8 things together are hard to do on a single day. I wouldn't expect that. But if you can do 4 out of these 8, that's a heck of a day. And sometimes I'll be at the end of the day and I'll think, well, gee, what have I done today? I think I've done something physical, more than usual. I've read some things that are worth reading. But have I done much of anything else? Who have I reached out to today? And it will cue me in to facilitate a relationship. Call someone, text someone, email someone, do a nice gesture for someone, offer a favor to someone. And it helps me to fill out that list of things, and it becomes a better day because I'm doing that. So I hope that you will embrace this idea. If you want to ask me more, you certainly can reach out to me and I'll give you more information about this. I've never actually spoken about it formally before, just as part of my therapy sessions. So this is kind of new ground, which is great. And in conclusion, I would like to share with you 2 very brief examples of Jewish humor. Why? Because I have the floor, that's why. So one is a riddle, and one is one of my favorite Jewish haiku. So here's the riddle. I don't think anyone's going to get this. You don't have to, but if you do, you get a gold Star of David. Here's the riddle. What do you call a group practice of observant Jewish boom doctors? I'll ask it again. What do you call a group practice of observant Jewish boom doctors? Orthodox. Okay. And now for the haiku, one of my favorite Jewish haiku. It subsumes so many Jewish ideals and principles in 17 syllables. It's amazing. Here it is. Is one Nobel Prize so much to ask of a child after all I've done? Shabbat shalom.
Thank you so much, Cory. That was wonderful, and it was a wonderful way to kick off our talks, and I think it also reinforces why we gather and why we come together for Shabbat. And I always like to remind people that this is always here. This space is always here for us to be able to come together and do that. And I hope that we find, I'm going to go back and write these down and put them all up on my wall or my fridge or something. So it's when in doubt, do one of these 8 things. I think it's wonderful. So thank you so much to Cory. Feel free, everyone, to stick around and schmooze a little bit and ask Cory questions, or just talk to him and tell him how wonderful he was. And we're going to wish him a Yasher Koach and a Shabbat Shalom to all of our friends online. I'm going to turn off the recording.